Welcome back. Right now, I'm honored to be sitting next to director Goran Stolveski. Goran, how are you doing today?
Good, good. Thank you for having me here.
Excellent. You're the director of a Sundance short called Would You Look at Her, which I think is very fitting for our current time. And I know that when you wrote it, that wasn't the idea, but now that it's been released, it's perfect. It's about a Macedonian girl who is very defiant and won't take no for an answer in this kind of patriarchal society, I guess you could say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm based in Australia now most of the time, where I've been living since I was 12 years old, but I was born and grew up in Macedonia, and I go very, very regularly, obviously. So when I went in there to try and put together a project, I kind of was looking at the catalog, and maybe out of 50, 60 projects that had been financed recently, I counted about 2 female protagonists.
Wow.
Yeah. So but in terms of gender representation and LGBT representation, like, this problem's worldwide, but this was pretty dire in my opinion. So I kind of went in there definitely interested to put in a very defiant female protagonist and a strong one. But also I'm just very drawn to those characters. I relate pretty intensely to women of that type who are very headstrong. I have since I was very little. I grew up around women like that, and I felt it was both unfair that they weren't getting the representation they deserve, and also these are interesting stories that we're all missing out on as a society and as a culture. So yeah, I was hoping to sort of change that, and it's interesting that that kind of conversation has come up internationally now, because obviously I wrote this film a year and a half ago when this wasn't quite at the forefront as much as it is now. But it's heartening. I'm hoping we're witnessing a very, a cultural shift that's going to have a strong impact.
I agree. I feel like audience are really interested and very hungry for answers to these types of questions. And how do you tackle these themes in your film?
Yeah, I think audiences have been interested for a while, actually. I think especially female audiences have been undervalued. Yeah, but in terms of themes, I sort of don't really go in there with an agenda. I just want to put in, shape a story around characters that are as three-dimensional and real and authentic as possible. And I want them to be flawed. I don't want them to be idealized. I mean, the protagonist in my film is by no means an angelic, noble person. She can be rough and mean and tough as well. She has her own self-interests, just like anyone out there. We're both good and bad, all of us.
And I think I appreciate the way that you wrote that, in the sense that it is very real. I mean, it's not trying to, I mean, I know that you have, and you really want to elevate the female voice, but at the same time, it's a very real female voice. You're not buttering it up, or you're presenting the realness of it, which I really appreciate. And she's getting fed all of these excuses. It's going to be too cold. You can't handle it. It's meant for, traditionally, it's meant for men. And over and over again, she says, no, I should be doing this. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just picturing my cousin as I'm watching that. It reminds me so much of her, and it also reminds me of me. Like, that's what I realized. I have a lot of common with both the female and the male characters in a lot of my films, but yeah, it's often very instinctive. You write the kind of people you're interested in watching and exploring, and I mean, in that clip, I think the audience is very much on her side, hopefully. But
it's hard not to be on her side.
In this context, especially, yeah. But I kind of did want to write a bit of an anti-heroine. I think, especially in terms of the conversation going on that we were mentioning in terms of diversity, I think you can't really have full diversity until women and queer people and migrants and people of color are allowed to be as kind of flawed as the other. Like, we can't just have noble representation.
I agree.
So yeah, noble and feisty and mean, and all these things alternating and contradicting sometimes, just like they do in real life.
And ultimately real, and I think that's
Absolutely,
the best. It's a real
yeah.
presentation, and I really appreciated that. Where is the film showing and when?
So we've already had 3 screenings very quickly in a row. It's playing on the 25th. I forgot in the theater right now, but I know it is, actually public theater,
okay.
I'm pretty sure, at 6 p.m. So on the 25th, as part of the shorts program #2, and it's the last in the program. And it's a very strong program. I feel very honored to be among such great work by other filmmakers. Excellent.
And Goran, you're a prolific director yourself. Where can people keep up with your work as a director? Because I'm sure we're all very excited to see what's next from you.
Yeah. So this is my 24th short film, and we just made another one since this one was finished.
Wow.
We finished a week ago. It's been a very hectic period. So yes, a few of my recent shorts are about to go online. Hopefully, I'm just talking to someone right now. And yeah, I'm about to fly back to Australia to direct a TV show called Nowhere Boys, which is now in season 4, and it's an international Emmy winner. So,
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I do know it's playing on American screens, but I don't know exactly which channel it is right now.
We'll definitely have to take a look at that. And where can people, do you have a personal website or social media that you'd like people to follow?
I don't have a personal website yet, but I think if you Google my name, Goran Stolveski, and film, you will find a lot of stuff. Ways to access. It's not that common a name, especially for a filmmaker. So, yeah.
Well, Goran, it's been a pleasure meeting you. And
me too.
Your
Thanks
work is fantastic. I highly appreciate all of the themes that you touch on and giving voice to people that don't normally have that voice. So highly appreciate it.
Great, thank you. Thanks for your great
Absolutely.
questions.
We'll be right back with much more coverage. Don't go anywhere. We have great music as well coming up right after this.